Kevin, their sing-song bird. I love that. Whew. That's gonna be the hardest part of today. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all of the support for the first video. It was so much fun for me to film, so I'm really happy you guys responded well to it. And I look forward to making more content like this, so let's just get right into it. Today's video is going to be about the 5 tips on how to just get yourself started. So how to get moving, how to get active, how to get yourself out of bed because you moved your big toe last time. I need a little bit more than that. You need a little bit more than that. The friction of being stagnant or being sedentary and getting into a lifestyle that may be more time consuming. It's a hard step. It's hard to get your head around, so I totally understand that. I've been there for a really long time and I have the tools to make it happen for myself, so I understand where you're coming from and you can do it too. Before I jump into the 5 tips on how to get started, I want to talk about the research behind it. The research that I look to is all about behavioral theories or behavior change models, and they're very prominent in kinesiology, but they're also very prominent in psychology because it's all about understanding how and why humans change. I have 4 theories that I want to talk about today. I'm just going to scratch the surface and very briefly explain them. The first theory that I want to talk about is called the Transtheoretical Model. It goes through 6 stages of action or where you could be in your change. These 6 stages are as follows: pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance, termination. The important thing that I really want to touch on with this model is that it's not a linear progression from pre-contemplation all the way to termination and then we have a behavior change. It's not that easy. There's another stage in this or another concept in this theory or model that talks about relapse and that people can start making changes and then things get in the way or something changes and they're not able to make it happen right away, and you can go through each stage at different times. Although there is timelines and expectations for each one, it really depends on you and your person and how you're actually going to change. The second theory that I wanted to talk about is the social cognitive theory. It takes into consideration cognitive factors or personal factors, behavior factors, and environmental factors. Each of them have their own subsections and subcategories underneath them. The importance of the social cognitive theory is to really understand that all of these factors can affect a person. Not every person is in the exact same position as another person, but it's really important to understand the environment that you're in, your attitudes, and your personal factors, as well as to understand your behavioral factors. The third theory that I wanted to mention is the theory of planned behavior. It's very similar to the social cognitive theory because it takes into consideration attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control. I really like this theory though because it talks about the difference of the intention and the actual behavior, which leads into my next and final theory, which is called the black box theory. This theory takes into consideration the input or your intentions, the black box, which is reality, and the output or the behavior change. Now, I like this one similarly to theory of planned behavior because it really talks about the reality of change and how difficult it can be for each and every person. That leads again back to the social cognitive theory that there are so many factors that affect a person's change. All of these theories together have some common denominators. I'm not going to get this right. I've tried it multiple times, so I'm literally going to read this definition. Self-efficacy refers to an individual's belief in his or her capacity to execute behaviors necessary to produce specific performance attainments. Self-efficacy reflects confidence in the ability to exert control over one's own motivation, behavior, and social environment. Self-confidence and self-efficacy are really closely related, but the difference is that self-efficacy is your confidence in order to do a certain task or goal or setting, while self-confidence is referring to your confidence in your general ability to do anything. Okay, that dog is gonna bark this whole time. Thank you for understanding. Another common denominator that I really wanted to note is that environmental factors play a really big role in making change. And I want you to acknowledge them, but I also want you to validate yourself and understand that there are certain limits to some things, but that there's ways around it and that you can always find a way to make things work. Lastly, what I wanted to note for these theories is that they're exactly that. They're just theories, and everybody is different. So take what you need from all of these and be able to apply it to your life accordingly. Okay, let's get into the 5 tips on how to get started. Tip number 1. Get to know yourself even better. What I mean by this is to discover your why. If you haven't heard of that before, it's pretty much your deep down reasoning for why you want to make this change. This is also where I want you to start to understand what you prioritize, why you prioritize it, as well as what you value and why you value it. In order to better understand your why, I have 2 activities. Both of them are linked below. The first one is a decisional balance chart. This one looks at your current position and looks at the pros and cons of you staying where you are. It also looks at your position if you were to change and looks at the pros and cons of that. The second exercise is the self-efficacy for exercise. There is 1 to 9 questions and they are all scaled from not confident or 0 to very confident or 10. I really like the scale because it gives you a good understanding of what might hold you back as well as ways to overcome those things. Second tip on how to get started: forgive yourself. be gentle with yourself. This is a huge one for me because I know that I looked back on myself and I said, I've done this before, why can't I do this again? And I kept holding on to that. I kept looking at my previous failures and it really hindered my progression. I really want you to be able to look at yourself and say to yourself, I'm sorry, let's do this together. My third tip for how to get started: give yourself some wins. Start really small. Do 10 squats a day. Do that for 1 week. Check it off on your calendar every single day and see how you feel. The small wins and the small consistent steps are what's really going to make changes in the future. The smaller the wins now, the bigger the wins later. You got this. It's the smallest things. You can do 10 squats a day. You can do 10 push-ups a day. You can do a wall sit for 30 seconds a day. Easy peasy. And then you start building up from there. These small wins are going to give you a lot of positive reinforcement, which really boosts your self-confidence and then eventually your self-efficacy for doing certain tasks. My fourth tip on how to get started: set SMART goals for yourself. This is going to be an entire video in and of itself, but SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. By setting a SMART goal, it really streamlines your vision and gives you a specific goal to look towards. And it makes it really easy for you to focus on that one goal instead of saying, I want to be healthier. That could mean so many things. Pick one goal that you want to focus on, do 10 squats a day, and you will be able to do it. I promise. Trust the process. My fifth and final tip on how to get started is to make a schedule. This one takes a bit of forethought, but I promise you it's so worth it. It's changed the game for me. Create a schedule for yourself so that you know Thursdays are the day that you're going to run around the block, or Wednesdays are the day you're going to try that YouTube workout that you wanted to try. It gives your brain a break so that when the day comes, you don't have to think about it, you don't have to make a decision, it's just made for you and you just follow your schedule that you've already made. And that is it, you guys. Those are my top 5 tips on how to get started. That is all based on my own research as well as my own experiences. I really hope you learned something today. If you did, please comment below, tell me something new that you learned from this video. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate all of the support that I've gotten. Give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe below to see more content like this, and let me know what you want to learn next. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you next time. No, before I crap, I don't remember what I was talking about. Self-efficacy, 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 self-efficacy. We'll get there, folks. We'll get there. What? This is going good. This is a good day. Thank the heavens. I love dogs. Let's stop working. I don't like that. 2 activities, that's 4. What?